Did you know that there is an anime where Donald Trump farts on a school teacher's face? Yeah, me neither. But now, neither of us get to unsee it because it is election season. So I thought it would be the perfect time to cover presidential anime because for years, anime and manga have been reaching across the aisle to give US presidents a surprising amount of screen time that ranges from cute anime girls embodying Obama to just the absolutely cursed. But honestly, nobody does it better than Baki, who has featured every US president since George Bush, and the things that happen to them are just wild. So before we get into that, let's take a closer look at how Japan represents Americans and their presidents and some other presidential anime cameos as I make you the most presidential cocktail of them all. Today on Mixing Media.
Hey, cowboy, cowgirl, how the are you doing? Tell you what, I'll give you the king special with a ton of ketchup and mustard to go with those hot dogs. Oh, you very much.
Okay, so that's a bit extreme. That's not how anime usually shows Americans, but it is objectively hilarious. I feel like anime often shows Americans as loud, kind of stupid, gun-loving dudes, or just, 6 feet tall, blonde hair, blue-eyed muscle mommies. And I got news for you, Japan. Not everybody's like that. Some of us are from Cuba. Not me, of course. My race is saltine. But that's exactly where today's cocktail is from, the El Presidente. So the El Presidente is kind of a weird combination of equal parts white rum and blanc vermouth, which is like dry vermouth but sweeter, and a little bit of orange liqueur, which came stateside around 1920, which is also when my favorite pair of American anime characters happen to be running around, and that is Isaac and Miria from Baki. So Isaac and Miria are a couple of thieves that board a train, which is, if you're not familiar with Baki, it's just like a mystery that all takes place on a train. And while they're on the train, they think that they're making a toast to something. Forgive me, it's been a while since I watched Baki, but instead, they actually end up drinking an immortality potion. And mind you, this is like 1920, 1930, and they don't realize that they've become immortal until it's like, I think 2001, and then they just look at each other and realize,
I've got this feeling like we've never even aged.
So yeah, a bit of that like stereotypical stupid American. But then on the other hand, you have My Hero Academia, whose American characters are probably the most like, yeah, America, characters that you could imagine. What's that lady's name? Stars and Stripes. I want to say that there's a scene where she's literally like riding a fighter jet and she is just decked out in the US flag, blonde hair flowing in the freest winds you've ever felt. Love America. But that's not particularly surprising to me, considering how heavily influenced My Hero Academia is by American superheroes. Their author is just like an America weeaboo, Americaboo, Ameriboo. Did I come up with that? Shit, hold on. Crap, no. But even with My Hero Academia's American characters, no anime character is more American, more patriotic, more stars and stripes than my man, Chibody Crockett from G Gundam. This guy literally shows up exploding out of the Statue of Liberty. This man is the definition of America. But on the less ridiculous and the more political side of things, a few years ago, I came across this one manga about a Japanese American senator running for president. It was fascinating to see a Japanese perspective on the US presidential race. I didn't end up finishing it, but I do remember it being surprisingly well-researched and pretty thoughtful, unlike our first presidential anime, Yo President Trap-kun. So this anime probably has the honor of being the lowest rated anime on my anime list that I have ever watched. I think it has like a 3 or something, and let me tell you, that 3 is completely earned. But first, why is the show called Trap-kun? I mean, I guess trap sounds kind of like Trump, or maybe, because he's rapping the whole time, it's a reference to trap music. Oh yeah, I don't think I told you that. He's rapping the whole time. Either way, don't watch this. This show is so cursed. It is not safe for life. And it is shocking how much the case this is, given that the show, okay, there's 2 episodes. Each are 45 seconds. So what is that? That's a combined minute and 30. And in that minute and 30, you will want to bleach your eyes. Even just the first episode is so tough to get through, but if you do make it through and you make it to the second episode, you will see Trump doing things that would get the FBI knocking down his door. Again. This show comes to you from the deranged mind of Takashi Taniguchi, who, if you look at his back catalog, this man is insane. He only makes these like 1 to 2 minute net animations, but the stuff that he covers are just the weirdest things. Like, you got this dude hanging out with his sentient fart, to horror, which is by far the least weird part of this whole thing, to a guy reading bedtime stories to the pin pineapple apple pin guy. Pin pineapple apple pin, pin pineapple apple pin, pin pineapple apple pin. Haven't thought about that in a very long time. But Trapcoon is far from the only cameo that Trump has made in anime and manga, because most recently he showed up in the Death Note manga as a pretty relevant character. This was a one-shot where somebody else gets the Death Note, and what do they decide to do with it? They decide they're gonna sell the Death Note, which I think is a crazy idea. But of course, in trying to sell it, the kid kicks off sort of an international arms race where everybody's trying to buy the Death Note. And who wins the deal? It's Donald Trump. Donald Trump, canon, buys the Death Note. So yeah, I guess I can cross that off my bingo card. I didn't expect to see Donald Trump hanging out with Ryuk ever. But another person that he's depicted hanging out with in anime is Hillary Clinton, having a casual Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel to see who wins the US presidency. And this was back in 2016, so we know how that turned out. But this scene does not appear in Yu-Gi-Oh! It appears in Akiba's Trip the Animation, which I think is just a completely underrated, fantastic show. Like, if you're interested in Japanese culture and sort of like real Japan otaku culture and idol culture and stuff like that, this show is just such a good parody and commentary on all that stuff. And the animation is super good. I love the character designs, and the theme song is amazing. Akiba's Trip is one of my favorite anime of all time, and I'll take any chance I can get to evangelize about it, so please go watch it. It's really good, I promise. You'll like it. Maybe. And it's actually an anime spin-off of the Akiba's Trip video game, which I have honestly never played. I hardly know anything about it, so you don't need to know that in order to actually enjoy the show. But I'm done ranting about how much I love Akiba's Trip, so let's take a look at when he shows up in Baki and has a little, accident. Well, hold on, we're still not quite there yet. First, let's take a look at some of the democratic representation in anime, and there's basically none of this for Joe Biden, but there is a ton for Obama! But in the anime Osumatsu-san, Obama shows up on a big screen TV to ask this guy for some economic help. And what advice does this guy give to the US president? Hot dogs!
Oh, fantastic! Amazing! Genius!
Yeah, he tries to sell him on hot dogs being a solution to the economy, but I think he refers to them as American hot dogs, which makes me wonder, are there Japanese hot dogs? Are there like other kind of hot dogs outside of America? I have absolutely no idea, but if you know, let me know down in the comments. And while you're down there, you know, whether you are Democrat, Republican, communist, socialist, no matter what you are welcome in the house of mixing media. So give the video a like and subscribe. But on the next one, he shows up in air gear as John Omaha, which, you know, Omaha, Obama, I guess it's kind of close, but something that's even more of a stretch is when he shows up in Gintama, because he has been combined with Will Smith. Now, I know he looks nothing like Obama and not really like Will Smith either, but the way that I know this is supposed to be, at least in part, Obama, is because the only thing he says is 2008 campaign slogans.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Hey, you remember this poster? You know that the artist who created that actually got sued for copyright infringement because he stole the reference photo for it and then just added the color blocking. It's a really interesting story, and now he has to share ownership. There's some sort of joint ownership thing going on with that, so I imagine he's not getting as much royalties as he used to. I'm on a tangent. Let me get back on topic and we can talk about the time that Obama got brainwashed into being a cute anime girl. Okay, so this girl is not actually Obama, she's Ohama, and she is from a rather spicy visual novel called My Girlfriend is the President, and the plot for this is just like mind-blowing. I don't even know what to say about this. So instead, I'll just read you a few lines from the synopsis online. Hold on. It started out as an ordinary morning, woken up by my childhood friend. Had a good breakfast, complete with morning hard-on. Complete with morning hard-ons. And if you've ever wanted to date Obama, then this is the game for you, because I guess he's like a romance route. I don't know, honestly, I've never played it. Just like I've never seen Witchcraft Works, which is another time that Obama appears looking nothing like Obama.
オバマ君、やっちゃって。
The best is yet to come!
Which is maybe a good time to point out that Obama is not just a US president, it is also a name in Japan. And not only is it a name of people, it's also a name of a city. Obama in Fukui. It's probably Fukui. Fukui, Japan, where the city leaned hard into the 2008 presidential election. Obama was already a big fishing town. They're known for their mackerel and also being the original gateway into Japan, and interestingly enough, the first place an elephant set foot in Japan. But once they learned that there was an American politician named Obama, they started plastering his face and his name on everything. It basically became the 2008 Democratic Party's wet dream. Should I have said that? Is that too inappropriate? So you walk into a hotel in Obama and you're immediately met with giant cardboard cutouts of the former president and the former first lady. And then once you're done at the hotel, you can go outside and spend a little bit of time with the Obama art around town. There's some statues and some paintings, and they really like to lean into the idea that he is Hawaiian. So if you want to go back to the 2008 presidential election, Obama in Fukui is the town for you. As for me, I'll be traveling back to the era of Ronald Reagan, which was apparently the first time that a US president signed a peace treaty with Yuichiro Hanma from Baki. Now, I'll be honest with you, I haven't watched Baki yet, but after seeing what happens to the presidents in this, I'm gonna watch Baki. For those of you who don't know, Baki is about a boy named Baki whose father is Yuichiro Hanma, also known as the Ogre, and he is the strongest man in the world. So the whole story is about Baki training to get strong enough to take down his father, which is no easy feat, because even the US military gave up on it and decided to start signing peace treaties with him instead, because I guess they feared him giving the old, 1-2 to Florida. Just knock it right off. So Baki picks up with this when Obama is inaugurated into office and has to go do the peace treaty himself. Only it's not so much a treaty, there's no paper or anything, it's an oath. They have to put their hand on a Bible and swear that they will not touch this man. They will not do anything to this man, and he is free to do whatever he wants, which is just so ridiculously hilarious. But even further than that, after Obama signs the treaty, he's like, I've heard of you before, and he starts fanboying a little bit. He's like, oh, Mr. Ogre, I've heard that your fist is so powerful it can turn coal into diamonds. So he whips out this lump of coal, and the ogre grabs it into his big rippling fingers and crushes it into a diamond, and then uses that diamond to cut the table in half. Meanwhile, Obama is just there shaking and quivering.
Oh, damn.
Which is more than we can say for Trump. And Obama tried to warn him. When Trump won and Obama handed over the reins, he was like, dude, this guy is so strong, don't mess with him. And Trump is like, this is ridiculous. I cannot stand for this. I cannot do a Trump impression. So he marches up thinking, this treaty with the ogre ends with me, opens the door and sees this guy just completely ripped in a banana hammock. You know what happens from there. Then the next day, Hillary Clinton shows up going, I want to take the oath too. And the ogre's like, no, you can't take the oath. You're not the president. So she's like, but I know your wife. And I was like, what? How do you know his wife? And his response is just wild. I cannot even say what he said. I would get kicked off the platform. If you're curious, go find it for yourself. And while all this is happening, meanwhile, Baki, the main character, let's not forget about him, he kidnaps George Bush. And why would he kidnap George Bush, you might ask? Well, it's to get into the roughest prison in the US so he can fight all the strong guys and get strong enough to beat his father. Basically his only point in life. And so when they mentioned the toughest prison in the US, my mind was immediately like, oh, maybe like one of the LA prisons or Rikers Island in New York, but no, it's Arizona State Prison. So I was kind of curious. I Googled it to see, is Arizona State Prison just like infamous and terrible? And everybody said it was just kind of like, your standard prison. So I guess he made it up. I guess he just likes Arizona. I mean, you got the Grand Canyon there. What a place to escape from jail. With Baki complete, that is the last of my US president references in anime. And if I missed any, if you know any I didn't cover, let me know down in the comments. But I know election season can be pretty stressful, so I hope this helped you laugh at it at least a little bit. And if you're in the mood to laugh some more, check out the episode that I just did on the insane Ghost Stories dub, where I actually got to sit down with the guy who created it, Stephen Foster. But with that, I'm Austin, and I'm gonna go watch some Baki, the most presidential anime ever. Until I see you here next time on Mixing Media. Bye-bye.